Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another Quickie Beer News segment. And if you're like me, you like beer. Obviously, you probably do because you're on my channel, which is mostly about beer. But if you're also like me, you also like to travel once in a while. So I actually came across some information here that was put out by Food and Wine talking about the airlines with the best craft beer, and they kind of did their little ranking on it. So I figured I'd just share some information here for this night's Quickie Beer News. And they talk about the top 8 airlines that they actually came across that feature some of the nice craft beer deals. So you have Delta actually ranked as number 1 here. And if you're flying Delta, what you might expect, a little bit of Ballast Point, maybe some Lagunitas, Sweetwater, Newburyport, Brooklyn Brewery, Sierra Nevada, Fremont, Stone, Blue Point, and always Sam Adams. But it depends probably on what part of the country you're actually in, because some may more be dedicated to other ones. And of course, some people will say, well, the whole Ballast Point, Lagunitas, are they actually craft beer or not? Blah, 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 blah. Technically, they wouldn't be by definition, but they're still good beer, so we're still going to talk about them. And if they're on the plane and I'm traveling, I may actually go ahead and have one. So Delta ranks pretty highly. Nice little variety there of the breweries they're using. Second, we have Virgin America that actually comes up here. They feature stuff like 21st Amendment, Brewer IPA, also the Sneak Attack Saison, and of course the Pioneer and Anchor Steam they mentioned, which is the only beer in the country that can use that steam in their name and style. One thing about Virgin America, they do talk about how they focus mainly on Bay Area brewed favorites. So depending if you're flying out of that Pacific Northwest, you may get a little bit more of that type of beer offering. And in other parts of the country, it may be something slightly different. So there we have Virgin America at number 2. And number 3, we have Alaska Air, our big state up there to the west of Canada. And they talk about on their plane, they use Alaskan Brewing Company's Amber Ale, Citrusy Icy Bay IPA. They did add Kona on there as well, the longboard. So they have a mix of different ones there as well. Of course, Kona also one of those crafty companies that is actually owned by a bigger company, but that's okay. When you're that high in the sky, it's whatever you have, go ahead and give it to me. Just not trying to really do the macros as much. They also mention Seattle's Pyramid Breweries, and which includes the Outburst Citrus IPA and their ever popular Hefeweizen. Number 4, you got JetBlue. Not only do you get low fares, but you also are now getting some craft beer. You do have Angry Orchard Cider, Brooklyn Lager, Harpoon, UFO White, and Lagunitas Pale. Not sure why some of these are put in bold other than others, but it is what it is. But that's what you could actually get on JetBlue. So they'll get you there cheaper, and you actually have some good beer to choose from. We talk about cheaper. Number 5, you have Southwest, another airline known for its low fares. New Belgium Fat Tire, Lagunitas 12th and Never Ale being highlighted as a couple of the choices you can expect on their flights. And at $5 a pop for any beer to menu, that's actually a pretty good deal for a craft beer. So some places you go to an actual bar, you're paying more than that, but you're getting $5 for the whole can or the whole bottle, I would believe. And not too bad at all. Kick back on Southwest. And then you have Frontier Airlines, which is really one of the cheaper airlines out there. Kind of surprised they're in the mix here with craft beer, but you see here they also have New Belgium, Oscar Blues Penner, and they also will do something like a beer flight, which translates to any 3 beers for $18.99. So that's actually not a bad deal either. So if you're on Frontier, you may have to walk out to the tarmac to get on, but once you're on, you do have some good beer choices in there as well. And then slide into the last 2 on the list, United Airlines and American Airlines. So United Airlines, Shinerbach, Breckenridge, Lucky You IPA on there. Beers usually run about $7.99 a bottle. So again, you look at the other airline where it's $5 a bottle, you're paying a little bit more for this one here. And they fly a good amount of flights that you mentioned here from across the U.S. and several countries, but it's a little thin. They don't mention much more than those 2 actually being on there, but hopefully they have some other ones that can actually make up that gap. And the number 8 was American Airlines, newcomer with the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger. They have that available, and of course they have Sam Adams there as too. And of course you can get your domestic like the Macros, Bud Light, and Dos Equis. So those are 8 different airlines. As we start to head into the warmer months, people start to look at traveling. And a lot of times people are flying places. So these are 8 of the airlines you can find in the country and what they offer for their craft beer. For me, out of all the airlines listed, I actually am in Cincinnati. So ours is actually a Delta hub. So for Delta being actually ranked number 1, I'm very pleased about that. We'll keep that in mind as I book my next trip. Maybe you should do as you do yours. Thanks again for swinging in for another Quickie Beer News. Look forward to catching you guys next time. As always, please remember to like, comment, share, and please also subscribe. As with the whole new YouTube thing, we just want to make sure keep making these videos and get our numbers up. So any subscriptions are always helpful. I look forward to catching you guys next time. Tomorrow night, I'll be back with a beer review. And then the next segment of Quickie Beer News will run on Wednesday. Cheers. Keep drinking those good craft beers. And remember, there's always time. Get your beer on.